How many of us have dreams? How many of us have goals, families, things that they want to do, to achieve, to conquer? How many of us have those? When you're a child, they ask you, who do you want to be? And you have the chance and the opportunity to dream far as it can go, with no interruption of thoughts or mind that tells you, no, you can't do it. And as we grow older, many of us never achieve our dreams, let alone conquer life's challenges because of the can'ts and the won't. This is The Mind, your talk show. And today we're going to be speaking with a very, very special woman, a powerful woman. A woman who will tell you how she got here today and where she could have ended instead. Not in poverty and not in a bad home, but 6 feet under. That's debt. How did she conquer debt and became life? What did she use? Today, I am honored to have Clémentine on this show, with the hope that she can help us ordinary humans to conquer ordinary things in life using what she used, her mind. This is a huge privilege that we have to have her here. And so Clémentine, without further ado, thank you for being here. We are honored to have you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll delve in a little bit deeper about what this is all about.
Gabrielle, thank you for inviting me. It is a privilege. I'm 52 years old. I have 6 children. I traveled the world. I am the firstborn and 3 kids. We have 2 boys, 4 girls. How did I write here?
That's right.
That's a good question. The subject is about to conquer cancer.
That's right.
Or to live with cancer in a comfortable way. There's so many people who are dying with cancer. For me, I had breast cancer, stage 3. It was advanced. It was in my lymph node. My doctors, they were looking at me like, what is the next stage? But how we talked about mind set, I never had a thought that I'm going to die.
You never did, huh?
Not that moment. I promised my kids I'm going to live 106 years old. I'll be 60 years old. So therefore, dying was not in my plan. And the least with it, I fixed how I can conquer it. And then that I did. And if I didn't, also I could go for comfortably. Because my mind accepted many things. If that time, if I have accepted that I will go, I think I will become that.
Wow. Thank you so much, Clémentine, for addressing the fact that right now we're talking about a survivor of breast cancer and what she used to overcome and survive breast cancer. Before we delve a little bit more deeper into that, you made a very important point. You said that you promised yourself that you would live until 160 years old, right? But how many of us do we have plans and things that we say we're going to achieve, but something happens in life and we let it go? So why is it that you particularly decided that I said that I was going to live until 160, and yet you were diagnosed with breast cancer, and you stayed with that? Did you ever think, okay, I said that I was going to live at 160, but now, so too bad, I'm going to die. Did you ever think that way? Why didn't you think that way?
No, I didn't. When they told me I had cancer and was stage 3, I was healthy. I like to do sport. I live well. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink coffee. So my hobby is sport and reading. When that news came, it was the time I lived more than 5 years with high stress. So when I was told about cancer, for me, I really confirmed that was the stress, the reason of the cancer. So when you have a question and then you have an answer, it makes it easy to make decision. And from that moment, maybe I'm privileged to have that strong mind. Since I was a kid, I always use mind. I control everything with my mind. So I plan that cancer will never kill me.
You actually had a plan for that.
I have a plan.
Wow.
When I was told, put the telephone down. I was told on the phone. I put telephone down and I said, okay, now I'm going in this fight.
Wow.
And I was ready for it. Through the treatment, I never have a day where I would think that I would die.
Never. It never occurred
Never
to you.
occurred to my mind. So that is something which is very important to all the people who are there who do have a cancer, to fix in your mind that you're going to win. Of course, the devil is a mystery. We don't have control on it, but we can avoid to suffer.
That's right.
I always give two advice to people who do have cancer. You are born one day, you die on another day.
Wow.
So when you accept that it can come, then it's easy to fight it. And when it comes, then you are ready, you go peacefully. But in my case, I sensed, I believed that was not my time.
Right.
And I did everything to make sure that was not my time.
Well, that's very interesting, Clementine, because here we're speaking about, again, the power of the mind and how that replicates into the life that we live, right? So if we assume that the stress that you had prior to having cancer may have led you, and you tell me whether or not you agree on that, that the stress that you had prior to having cancer led you to having cancer, and that once that happened, the trigger, we will call it, then you made a certain decision, right? And that reverted the outcome, right? That's very powerful. That's very useful. Did you read that anywhere? Did anyone tell you about that?
No.
Were there any techniques?
No. I use a couple of techniques, which in my daily life usually I used since I was 10 years old. I controlled my mind.
Okay.
So meaning during the cancer treatment, I knew any negativity, it will really push me down. So I decided that I don't want any negativity around me. It can be people, it can be their actions. And I made sure that the cancer doesn't disturb my agenda. So I had a couple of things planned. I was diagnosed in July. I had a holiday for kids planned. I flew to Rwanda in July. I got my answers about cancer 5 days later, confirmed for cancer. I stayed 10 days in Kigali with my kids. And then I had my birthday planned, my 50th birthday planned. I was doing my IMD executive MBA. I traveled around the world after chemo, every week a chemo, and then I would travel
Wow.
thereafter.
Well,
So my mind was the cancer is not going to disturb my life.
That's amazing.
I would do everything in moderation,
Mm-hmm.
but my plan will change.
Did you have anybody telling you that was not the right way to do? That they thought maybe you're crazy to do that. You should probably stay in the hospital.
That's the other thing. So when you
But by the way,
diagnosed,
thank God you did not, because this is why today we're having a survivor
that's
story.
the other technique. When you are diagnosed by cancer, everybody has opinion.
Okay.
So from the family, friends, to the doctors, to the airlines, to the everybody, to the books you read, to Google. So I decided that my cancer is different from anybody else. Because if the cancer comes in your body, it's not the same as my body. It depends how you lived, what is before precondition. So I avoid any comment from anybody. So what I did with my doctors, I told them that it's my life, my health, so I take control of it. They are there to help me, to advise me, because they are in the field of being a doctor. And I'm the one who make decision. Then they can help me based on my decision. I avoid my information to go anywhere. I was the center of everything. Because the moment you start listening to everybody, is really take your focus away. And I didn't search for many information. I asked my doctor to give me 2 pages. What to do and what not to do. Because if you go into all information about cancer, you don't sleep anymore. You'll be thinking about the other options. And the other option could not be maybe the good for you. Of course, I educated myself about the treatment, but even the treatment side effects, I warn against them. Because I heard the statistic. When you're coming from Rwanda, survivors of genocide statistics, they don't make much sense anymore.
Right.
So I educated myself, and then I decided what to avoid and what to follow. I didn't go into much deeper. Cancer is there. You know what to do. You know what not to do, and the rest is my time.
Amazing. Wow. Well, I find it really interesting, and on the mind we really talk about being human animals, right? Because it's quite interesting that what differentiates us from the species of animal is our ability to think for ourselves, right, and not to be primitive on that primitive consciousness level of consciousness. So we have the ability to think the way that we want, right? And our thoughts often it replicates in what we see in the reality, right? Like this chair does not exist before someone has thought about it, correct? So you had seen your life. For you, you had projected that you would live, and therefore you did, right? So would you say that? Could you say that your mindset and your belief, which you acquired by yourself, right? Did you learn that growing up? Before you answer the question, I would say, so would you say that mindset was 90% one of the reasons, or a great percent the reason why you have survived, or would you say that you think it was a combination with medication, support system? Go ahead.
I think the mindset will take 80%.
Fantastic.
And the 20% is science, is medicine, and the rest. The mind percent, Yes. When you have a cancer, you need to avoid anything which is negative. So what kills most people is when they acknowledge that you have breast cancer. Your husband might think he's the widow next day. The children, they will think they were losing their money. You parents, they start thinking about how you're going earlier. They're supposed to go first. So around the whole, the cancer diagnosis, is there are many attributes to you well-being. So what for me, what I did, I closed everybody out.
Did you?
I closed any friend who is negative. And when you have such strong mindset, if you have fear, for example, you might not be negative, but you might be having fear. You are close to me.
Yes.
Then I will feel it.
Right.
So if I feel it, it brings down my hope and my belief, because my mind will go around to think how sad you are.
I know, right?
So you're taking my time of focus. I was happy to have 3 kids out of 6 who were very, very important in this process. And it can be not your kids, it can be other people, but their personalities, they really helped me to get out of this kind of situation. So I had still have my son, who was there almost 24 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I sent him out. I didn't want my kids to be around. I didn't want anybody to be around. I want to go to doctor myself. I'm coming back. I'm the one who gives information. Nobody else there to have information. So my son was there all the time. Said, he reminded me, said, Mom, I have only one mother.
Yeah.
So you don't do for you, you do for me.
Right.
So he would continue to come back. At the end of the day, we had fun. So that's the other thing.
So you didn't. Okay. He said, "Mother, you're my only mother." So was it in the way that he was fearful that you might also cut him off in order to survive?
Yes, because I cut everybody else.
Right.
And like my children, they're very important, so I kept them. Those 3, I kept them around. The other youngest one, we informed them when it's necessary. So I didn't want them to deal daily with the drama of cancer. But coming back to my son, he was accompanying me every day. We had fun. It sounds very strange that you're having fun in a hospital, you're having fun having chemo.
Right.
But we made everything with humor. So we go to hospital, I'll be dressed very well. We have videos, we make comments about it. The mindset, for example, when they inject me chemo, I will put music and I program myself to sleep.
Right.
So I will sleep an hour and 15 minutes and I wake up and then chemo will be done. So completely you'll be a different person because they're killing your cells.
Wow.
And he was there. So he was there when I woke up, he was there when I was sleeping. So we made the same jokes in the hospital. I made sure the nurse and the doctors, I'm not coming to die.
Right.
It's just the journey and it will end.
Right.
It feels like you're going to spa. Most of the people, you might take your time. You go to spa to Malaysia. You spend a month of cleanser.
Right.
That's how I took my cancer.
Well, this is so. You see, this is so powerful because you're talking about the power of visualization. So you saw what you were not actually experiencing, right? and you even had music, which actually probably fired new neurons. So scientifically proven, when you think positively, you create new neuron pathways into your brain, right? There's something called binaural beats as well that you can listen to at night or even in the morning in order to create dopamine or serotonin release into your mind and to your body. I really want you to help us understand this, Clémentine. How can us or how can any woman or people in general who have not experienced such a life-threatening season in their lives understand how powerful and how important it is for us to actually conquer the way that we think for our life, for our health, and so that does not happen to somebody else. Is it achievable even?
It is achievable. The start is you have to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the start. Don't doubt anything. I would say decision maker.
Yeah.
We have the conversation about
I like that a lot.
maker. In life, you have to learn how to make decisions. It can be good decision, it can be bad decision.
Mm.
So you have to be ready for the result of your decision. And if you have that training of, it can be training, it can be in gym, I believe, personalities coming from somewhere maybe. For me, I started when I was 10.
Wow.
And I made some principles when I was 10 years old. Till now, I still
keep them. Did anybody teach you about this? Because c'est pas très courant. It's not very.
No, it is a situation.
Especially as a woman, even.
It is the moment.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I was in certain, how you call it? I was 10 years old. I came in a certain situation, and for survival, I made a decision that time. And when I made that decision, I put the other principles around that decision. And from that moment, I don't know, maybe turn around in your brain. From that moment, I lived based on that principles.
Right.
Yes, I'm telling you that's about 42 years later.
Right.
If I violated one, after 7, I violated 1.
Wow.
The 6 others are still the same.
Wow.
And those principles that they gave me the tools to survive cancer. They gave me the tools to control my mind.
Right.
Because you are born, you are alone, you die alone.
That's right.
That's something everybody's supposed to understand. You're not going with anybody. Even when you're becoming your twins, when you're going alone.
Yeah, you don't go with your twins.
So, and that is the principle I have in my mind, and that is actually the basic. From that basics, the rest of the decision I will take them based on that. So every woman, every man, every child, every old people, they can make that decision. It's start to believe what you want to be, what you want to do, who are you. Wow. Actually, the moment we don't understand who we are, we cannot make decisions. We cannot have the dreams. We cannot do all these kind of things.
Right.
So the start is to know who you are.
That's powerful. But did you feel fear? That's one that I have in mind is, did you feel fear? And do you teach your daughters and your son to be decision makers and to choose what they want, even though that might go against your own dreams, but to be their own selves? So how did you handle fear? Did you feel fear? Did you feel guilt? And then, yes.
No, I'm fearless.
Are you sure?
I am fearless. Anything comes, they always say that.
So we might need some Clémentine blood because
if you are fearless, is the stupid. Most people they might say that, but I judge the situation. I am solution oriented.
Okay.
When it comes to our culture, I know I'm going to say that.
Let's talk to the mothers this time, so you can
and,
look.
and I know the mothers that they're going to sit in their seat, say, look at her. When it comes to culture and in our culture, when the parent talking to you, you're not supposed to respond. You're supposed to say yes, and that's it. So,
I think the talk show is over now. I'm just joking. That's how we're going.
so you're
Go ahead.
supposed to say
Just
yes,
get-
and that's it.
Uh-huh.
And by saying yes, the daughter of the son, we accept things which they don't understand. Because you're telling them from you, your experience,
Right.
what you think, and how you want them to live, how
Right.
you want them to do things.
Right.
But those kids, they don't have experience. So
Right.
you believe in their brain, they will capture
Right.
what actually mean.
Right.
I have some experience myself as well. That's wrong.
Okay.
So when we say knowledge is very powerful, if you don't ask a questions and question about the other decision, then you might assume that what they're telling is the truth and is the right. So the mother, we have this kind of, we give ourselves this veto by
Right.
saying whatever we said, whatever we think is
Right.
correct.
Right.
But it's not correct.
Hmm.
You were born 40 years ago.
Right.
You didn't have computer. Maybe it was no light. Maybe you have to walk miles to go to school. And somehow your child is born in the privileged life, even not privileged, it's completely different. And you want your child to live the way you lived, to think the way you thought at that time. It is wrong. It's a generational issue. And you kind of limiting them to think.
That's right.
Again, how we said, to develop.
Right.
And when she goes to husband, and the husband has to say, yes, you have to sit down there. She remembered the mother said, you have to be ready for your husband.
Right.
But they never told the husband to be ready for the wife.
Right. That's another topic.
So that's the conflicts of generation. And we kind of have this kind of, to accept also the mediocrity.
Yeah.
Because your mother lives with your father, they were not happy, for example. Your mother insisted that's the way of this marriage. If you're going to marry, you have to be patient, you have to do this. But she was unhappy.
Right.
So why would you allow your daughter to live life which is unhappy? And so for the daughters, I don't say you should respect your parents.
Always.
And what is based, which I do, I hope to continue to do, is communication.
That's right.
Every parent has this kind of thing at home where the child say, oh, you are old. You don't understand me. What's the meaning of that? Every child will tell you that. And if you sit down and listen to them and you ask, what do you mean I am old? Then you will go into their mind and then you understand how they think. But if you don't allow them to question and to talk back, meaning you are shutting them down. And they will start going outside to find advice.
Right.
The lucky one. The other one, then they're stuck in that conflict between the parents and themselves. So for the daughters, you can be anything you want to be. You stay respectful. You put your dream there. There's nothing can stop you when you believe in it.
How?
It is very important. When you believe something, that's what mind comes in. You will work towards it, and you will guide yourself, and the rest of the world will follow. The dreams are there. If you don't have dream, actually, you are dead. It's so boring life without dreams. So, to anybody's daughter, support them, give them love, let them dream, give them space to dream, and support their way of life. Let them make mistakes, because those mistakes is what you learn from, and they will learn from.
Thank you so much, Clementine. This is fantastic. This is very powerful. I hope that this hits home. We do believe that on the mind we promote that there's no right or wrong, right? When there's communication, right? So to it's a utopic world, um, to build a world where we don't judge, right? But rather we try to understand the mind, or we try to understand the other person, right? So a parent would, as naturally speaking, would try to make their children safe, right? To protect them from the world, because they have lived the world. And so they don't want to see their child suffer. So most of the time and that's my perspective, most of the time the parents do what they do, in a way to protect the child, right? But sometimes that can lead to a negative outcome, right? With the child, as it grows older, rebels against the parents. Whereas if there was a platform for an open communication, there could be a mutual understanding based on negotiation. Um, we hope that that can happen, especially in developing countries in Africa, of course, that will build more compassion. Um, Thank you so much for being here. It is an honor. I want to ask you one last question before we close. Um, what do you have to say to survivors, to someone who's currently experiencing cancer?
Um, Let me go back a little bit. I talked about my son,
Mm.
but I have one daughter who is exceptional.
Wow.
So she brought any positive things in my life.
Mm.
She was there to remind me that those years I said I'm going to live with him. That
And I look forward to seeing you at 160, because you
106, not 106.
Oh, 106. Yes.
I will.
I know you will too.
The joke about
That's phenomenal.
106, when my doctor asked me about it, I said 100 is mine,
Right.
6 is for every child.
Oh.
So I told my kids to take care of themselves, to make sure that they will be fit
It's there.
when I'm on my 100. So every year I will live in one of or one
Other
family.
home?
Yes, that's the idea. So for the people who are experience cancer, believe in yourself. Don't give up. It sounds painful to say. Everybody in this world will go. So if you are in this stage, which is the doctors are giving you for couple weeks, couple months, and you just have peace. Because when you have peace, chemo goes easy on you, radiotherapy goes easy on you. Your spirit has to be high. When you don't have peace in your spirit, that's where you get all these side effects. That's where you get all these sleepless nights. But when you have a peace, everything will go smoothly. For the other one who are fighting, going through, we always say stage 2, 3, and whatever. Don't panic. Just putting yourself in place where you are there to clean up your life. You kind of, I would say that when they're killing your cells, the other new cells are coming in. So you have chance actually to live a better life. Until the end, you will fight against it. And the breast cancer shouldn't be killing anybody anymore. It is about the science, but it's also about people around us. For the people who are around the other people who have cancer, please keep your fear away. Because the fear you have around that patient is actually making it difficult. And she feels it when you're around her. To the doctors, when you're treating the patient, just look at their face and smile. That already will help them. To the nurse, don't treat them like they're dying already. Even someone who's dying, they need their dignity. They need the love. So as you're there to help them, give them that positive energy, not negative energy. Negative energy kills even the healthy person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clementine, for being here. The Mind. This is your talk show. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're amazing. This story is amazing. I was trying to shorten because I had so many questions in my mind. Too many. And then thank you so much.
We answer.
Thank you so much.